Nyame ma me ma yɛn nyinaa yɛ ho happy Sabbath.
Happy day.
Nah, I believe so you can all see my screen
Yes, please.
and you can hear me. Yɛda Nyame ase. It's been a whole week of navigating through the Y-Junction, no? And I want to commend my predecessors, Umaye Juma Kessie, and I have the list of all the jobs. Say, yeah, cake in area, I'm just coming to put the icing on it. And if you may, no, may the sprinkles say be good ice cream, no, as so. Said the be be looking good. And so you will hear me re-emphasizing and I say echoing some of the facts that have been mentioned already, no. Just so say we will hit down the hard facts, say at the Y-Junction, you and I need to take care of ourselves. Nti Nyame mboa yɛn and join me as we go through this series, this lecture. Me key test no me free Mark 12:31. Na yɛnnuane reading is so beautifully edema yɛn Nyame nhyira wo. Me concern na me wo ho ne say, I say, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Emphasis on thyself. There is none other commandment greater than this. Intina mi busa me ho say, why did Jesus say that? He could have said, say, love your neighbor as I love you. But why did he say as thyself? It means to say that self is the control. It means to say that self is the key thing na yesha so ade akodo obi. And if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? And God made us in his own image. Also, let us make man in our own image. So he did that. And God is love. And we are representatives of God wherever we find ourselves. And he wants us to radiate the love onto others. And we have to pay attention to ourselves and know how to love ourselves. That is the only way I bet me I love your neighbor, you bet me I love your spouse. That is the only way we can spread the love abroad. And to say ourself nimpo one self na yebe love no one hoya. And there are some identities and ase characteristics and so shedie bi and ase esu bi qualities bi individual bia we say ewo, and that distinguishes you as a person from all others. You have that blueprint to say nobody whatsoever, whether or not you are concordial twins or however it is, nobody is like you. When we have you like no other. When we lose you, we have lost you like none other. Nobody can take your place. If you have that notion in your mind, at the back of your mind, as a young adult, you know how much we need you around, and that will inform the decisions you make about the kind of self-care you give to yourself as we navigate through life. And see, if you can see from my screen, what we have here is the natural history of life. And given that life is constant, this is what we will all experience, right from the womb to the tomb. This is the journey we would go through. Now, the Etienne say, all this way it is telling us how we define ourselves. On this life journey, we are discovering ourselves. We are discovering who we are. And when we find it, we are peaceful. We feel that we fit in. We feel that we can be consistent and keep on going irrespective of what happens. And until when you are in your womb, what happens? And they say the kind of self that you show is called your other self. Your other self, yourself, how people see you to be. Until you have your own self, me Eva, how people see Eva, and then your other self, right from the womb. That is what you start with. That is what research gives us. Until your mom describes you, hey, this child in my womb, me dakra one person meda. Akra we me wo cravings bebre wo sa aduane we ho. Akra we ye say, that is your other self. Your mom describes you in the womb. And then when you come out, right from birth to about 15 months, it's your other self that is dominant. all the people more around you, the people who are nurturing you, no, and nurture who you are. So they say me baby will say the other two. Me baby will say, or this say, me baby will on pen milk. Me baby, that is your other self that they tell to the whole world. They flag it and then they make it so pronounced. But from 15 months, as research gives us, no, all the way to the peak, early adolescence, no, that is when you start to realize yourself. And into yamu bebre our platform you so I say me bisa wumpo say give me a vivid account if you can remember what happened when you were grade 1 or below. You can't tell me nothing. You can't even remember. You'll be more struggle. They can't even tell you anything that happened when they were in grade 1 or below. Say enye ebia ne mame ana obi a onim no ne katre na enka won who said this was myself as at that point. It's because we are evolving. But now after the 15 months, I will realize we call something self-awareness. Say, oh, this is me. I have come. I am in this world. What is this world about? Who am I? Why am I here? As you ask yourself all those questions, you evolve as a self. And then you try to suppress your other self. And then you make sure that your real self is actually portrayed. Until we struggle to find that balance, because people know you. Your mom, people around you know your other self. And that is what they've projected onto you. But you tell yourself, say, they know me this way. But I think this is who I am. You will not say it verbally to them, but then you struggle within you to bring it up for people to know who you are. And guess what? As you struggle with your other self, now I am dominant so much, now we'll put it up with real self, you project yourself up and say, this is who I want to be in the times ahead. And so you have to find a balance between your other self, your real self, and then your ideal self. So your ideal self, your future self, assume a position. And so we have a lot of problems, chaos, conflicts, just trying to keep a balance as a self, as an individual. And we all go through it and we struggle. And so when him say, this journey will continue this way, we will have all these conflicts with us all the way till even if you are on your death bed, you be reading with tribute, and that tribute they will tell the people who will read, because any wow self near reading, they will read your other self to us, whether it is true or not. You are dead lying there until they will read it to us. Said this person was A, she was this, she was this, she was that, and all the way even to your tomb. Sometimes they write on it the kind of self that you have, the kind of person you live, and your legacy does nothing but describe you to us. And see, ye be ye den, na ya find your real self. Ye be ye den, na ya to me form a balance between us. This brings us to the Y-Junction, because we want to know how to keep that balance. Research the Maya within a day, we make 35,000 choices within a day. Now, let me bring it down. Campus say, within an hour, you make 2,000 decisions. That's not enough. Within a second or two, you make 2 decisions. And see, Obebusa say, I didn't do that. I've been here. How long have we been here? And see, Sawaya mathematics now, how many decisions have you made? You are making a lot of decisions, but guess what? You are deciding whether you should listen to me or not, whether you should look on your gadget or look elsewhere, whether you should blink or not, whether you are making a lot of decisions, but because most of them not unconscious and you don't even know you are making that decision, but you are making it. But at the Y-Junction, highlighting it this week, this is a place where you are very much conscious that you are making a decision, and that is what makes it so much difficult. And I think that is why I youth leaders, and making sure say we should have a whole week emphasis and tell ourselves and create that awareness. Say there is a junction, there are decisions that we will make, there is a balance that we need to keep going forward. Said no, we will live it right, because just like we always know, YOLO, you always have to live once chance, and I mean, but we want to live it right. And at the Y-Junction, it is very, very, very uncomfortable. But guess what? Your self-care tells you, say, you have to find comfort in that uncomfortable situation. You have to know whether you are going left or right. And the man here, they say, it would be that decision that you are taking as a young lady, as a young man, goes a long way to affect generation unborn. It's that decision to commit to that spouse you have, no, I will make it at an early age of maybe at 26, no, will affect the whole generation. And that's will procreational your recreational generation. Nyame ede omo ebesha wase. And on the Y-Junction being there, very difficult, no. It is very disorienting because you have a momentum. If you can see the image I have here, nipa neba straight, all the way straight. So you have the momentum, you have gathered all the speed and everything that you are moving. All of a sudden, no, you have split ends and you don't know where to swerve your energy. Am I making the right decision? Am I doing it right? Mayor them, I know right. How can I just say all these conflicting situations? No, ebema wajene ayeshi, and the struggle is real. We are in a fast-pacing world. Technology and we have to catch up. How do you make decisions? The society doesn't make it any easier. And the social comparisons. And see, now it is not easy for you to just be an average person. No, I remember my dad telling me when minim say, Mako school Maya the first 5. Na me de me results abetreno. He just stares at me, no abusa me say, how about the person who was first in the class? After telling him all my struggles and how I knew I wouldn't even make it, no, the question that comes from him, they say, how about the person who could make it to the first position? Inti Etre said, just being an average person is not even accepted. We have to try and find our way to the top, whichever means possible. And then the conflict is even worse when we go by the social comparison, by self-judging. It is not even simple enough to make a decision as to ebia atade a wo ba behye. And so eye worse say wo behye atade ni be wie na wo be pie no, obi ambisa wo hwe be wo hwe wo ho akosi atade a wahye na wo hwe atade a ama so so ahye. You judge yourself in your head, say I'm not looking beautiful enough. I think say nessa but we atade a me hye it didn't put me above average. I think say me peers ameni omu hye no, they dressed more better off than I did. And that's so self-judgment that you have upon yourself, no, it makes it difficult for you to even make a decision to move. It is complex and a decision because you don't even know the outcome, the fear of unknown. You don't know. It's a decision where I make saying, if I enter into this job, if I say yes to him, if I choose this career path, you have no idea. It is not enough to be spiritual because your inner self tells you, say, you have enough information as a Christian, zooming down as an Adventist, to be spiritual. But what be said, na me spiritual ne to me krefa. Na me suave kakra, how will I survive in this society? How will I keep a balance between my real self, my other self, and my ideal self? Curiosity and experiences that we want to have. Why should I be celibate at this point in time? Intimiria singing now, am I going to live with just one spouse? How about say many experience be as to how it is to taste a relationship will be outside and son am about worry so that I can have a control to compare, say, oh, now me what relationship where we did this and we did this way, no, am I doing better or not? The prejudice that we have, we think say our religion is the best, we think say our ethnicity is the best, the kind of politics I practice and I say political parties I affiliated to and on the best, the kind of career you choose, you know, in our family, you know, we have a path in him say the exact career when was say you choose, who could you see anything it is less of okoye bibia ebia yensa no juma enye office ejuma bia na etre say you can't fit in. How will people see me? Send nkofo ebehume. Your other self is always conflicting with your real self and who you truly want to be. Your life partner in a relationship, the rippling effect a womb and cry wo be wo. Sometimes we even stay in abusive situations. Yenim say we could have just quit where juma na wo mu no. Ebia eya den but what Jane who say into Samantine Jumay Mua made menyeska edi akoma enkofo ewo Ghana. Made menyeska etuyame bills ewa hase. Nina ye niema e high your career path ewo your education. Sometimes it's not even because say you've not made a GPA or you've not made a grades, but you have even made the grades and you qualify to do those two conflicting programs ewo with him. Ebi awu kroi ope say you're doctor, you're lawyer, and you have the grades, and now you have the support back at home. You have every access at war. Now it is conflicting because you don't know where to go. Sometimes you can have it all, but it can only be one at a time. Your physique, as a lady, as a gentleman, you are so much worried and into yourself. So say, yeah, na kanyame eboa me na kaminya nentuo kakra. Yeah, na kamehwini itimi ye appointed kakra. Yeah, na kamituminya boobs anase talk kakrebi kanhua. And then all your life, the struggle is how you would have looked better if you had had an entuo. And then the struggle is real for you, and you don't see yourself. You can't find your real self. You can't make anything good out of what you have now because you are focusing on your attention as to what to do. Your health. Sometimes you are faced with life-threatening diagnosis via you don't know what to do to yourself anymore, and you ask yourself, do I quit now? And I say, am I going to move on? You are supposed to make life choices. The doctor will do a part by telling you, say, this is what you are supposed to do and this is the way forward. Do you agree to it or not? And you have to put that pen to that paper and sign. How do you make that decision? Your finances. Sometimes when you throw your eyes into the sky, how much have I made? Even people are they are doing better off than me. When you look at all these situations, the struggle is real. At that Y-Junction, your goals and your dreams are what person will achieve. I am sure said this year resolution no by this time no minim say oda so keep you up to it and answer what to book the more ebi mo keep on rewriting and rewriting obi wo ha after January no who baby crow the book that to be because the struggle is real. Sometimes when you look up around you, I have to say everybody is fitting in. I say am I a stranger here? I say we are abraboni mi hubo. I said, like people have their spaces and they're enjoying their lives and looks like everything is going on smooth with them. But maybe as I don't fit in, and then people start to have that exit planner and yes, suicidal ideation, and they are struggling whether they should exit or they should persist. And then this brings us to self-care. When you have all those turbulences, when you have all those uncomfortable situations, they are unforeseen times. And trust me, we will all be at the Y-Junction. If you are not there, you just exited. You will meet another Y-Junction up front. And let's all embrace ourselves to say, we have to take care of ourselves. Behind all those chaosity, if yourself is not there, the decision making will never happen. If we have that in our mind, say, the first thing that is supposed to be is the self before any other thing. Then we will put ourselves up and our best to face all the obstacles and not say all the challenges that are in our lives. And self-care is defined as the process of establishing behaviors that will ensure holistic well-being of oneself to promote mental, emotional, and physical well-being, and managing actively the odds that occur. Into the coincidences na ebeba, the problems will always suffice. We will get to our Y-Junction. And see, we have to take care of ourselves to establish some behaviors. You know, when you are confronted with, I had a professor that used to tell me, say, when you come to the exams room, and na ehonom na ube read the question of I find the answer, you will fail. You have to find the answer before you come to the exams room. And I thought about it and I'm saying, how? But going through school, and I realized say he had a point. When you wait till the point in time where you are confronted with a situation about anger, ehona will be deciding whether say will be angry or not, you will fail. Behind the scenes now when you're confronted, no, you have to plan. When I'm faced with a challenge as a young adult, you're very annoying. How do I put myself up to that situation? And once you have built yourself way behind the time and cared for yourself in that stead, no, when you are presented with that opportunity, yes, sir, annoying now explode here because you have your answer already with you, no, at the question time, no, you can solve that problem without failing, and you have that self-comfort and self-peace, no, that you need. That is the reason why I was say you taking care of ourselves. And when you take care of yourself, now you are well able to get ahead of situation and know how to handle them appropriately. And ma won't keep it off your balance. People have individual ways of more engaging in self-care right from the time or more sorry free or more bed. So people have affirmations that they do. They enter into their devotional alone with God time. Now after the meantime, you know, throughout the day, you know, they have the lunch time or more allotted to or more just to eat well, just to taking a deep breath. Sometimes it's not all about going on vacation. It's not all about having the luxury and the money and all those stuff, but just stopping yourself and taking in a deep breath and then exhaling on kwano self-care that you need. Self-care is necessary because it gives us that balance. That balance we need. And what your other self, no, any your real self, any your ideal self, no. Self-care is that pillar, a holding me new me, and a keeping that sanity that we need to move ahead as human beings. We put up a lot of defenses. A boy, am I care for yourselves? Mindfulness, dear bakwa, we have to wake up and smell the coffee. We have to know the reality. It is real. Sometimes we keep on running from decisions. And what say you make it, but guess what? It is still waiting for us. We have to acknowledge the reality. Say, your position be let's understand that situation. Now, when we understand that situation and acknowledge it now, we can switch off our flights and fight mode. The Etienne say, whenever we have decisions to make, whenever we have to achieve something, because of our other self now, people are looking up to us to know, and we want to put ourselves right. You know, so we have come to this world. We too, we are here. Some we too, we have achieved. We too, we are fitting in our space. You know, it makes us make a lot of hasty decisions as youth. Ye PSA yenti na ye. Research be a trema ye who say people bought pillows or more so, not knowing the reason why they bought it. They just felt said the pillow is too soft, the pillow is comfortable. That is the only reason why they bought it. But guess what? The orthopedics will tell you, say, you buy the pillow just to get a right posture. Whilst you are lying down on bed. But so pillow where they comfortable. That is the reason why they bought it. Into the mature when they say when you are in a situation what's will make you decision you release a lot of stress hormones adrenaline cortisol and physically it's a torture to your body. But then when you are able to understand the situation, when you are able to acknowledge the reality, yes, this is the time for me to move from my childhood moments to your adolescent moments now understand this situation now a wow emma me take control, and now your body turns your fight flight mode down, and then you have reward hormones that comes up. Reward and endorphins are a relaxel na propel you to make the right decision. And now when you're mindful, and also you just keep ignoring things, you don't want to even think about it because of the fear and the brewana, it will come back at you and it will hit you hard to the extent say you would have to be mindful of it. You have to bottle up. Don't be isolated. At the Y-Junction, guess what? There are always road signs. Driving out through Y-Junction, it is not bare, it is not blank. There are road markings there pointing you to either right or pointing you to left. And there are people too at the crossroads who have ever passed that Y-Junction now. And they tell you, say, this is what happens when you go left. This is what can happen when you go right. Given, say, that is not the standard or ideal at least you have a foreknowledge as to how a nearma, because sometimes we give up so too much. I say, there is nothing new under the sun. And you facing that challenge. There are people who are also facing that challenge. But when you look up, I say everybody is doing so well, and you are asking yourself, say, now media DNA to me. Sometimes we need people to how do I put it, validate us. We are over dependent upon people. I remember, said the first time my mother told me, said I have to go to the hospital alone, I cried. Because I was used to the fact said that be a mayare me mama de me ko hospital na mako senior high school ewie na mabafi na me home family me se ma me home family was say na there was a call hospital. I'm say all by myself. And I say, yes, you have to. It is time for you to move out of that nest. And I was confused and troubled. And I cried. I didn't know what to do. But I realized that it was time for me to bottle up, because you have to rediscover yourself. You have to make that effort. So discover who you really are. And then you have to catch up with your ideal self too. And not a self-care defense. And what say you're putting it up. After we have to adjust our mindset. The only enemy we have to ourselves is our mindset. If we don't change our mindset, we will always put ourselves down. The Etienne said there are lots of challenges that we have, but we put ourselves into more trouble when we self-judge ourselves. In the situation that we're outside and they're bad enough, but what we know the problem is not even being tackled, but what your other self will say to you, and not why you're worried about. And you are also worried, say you can't attain that ideal self that you want. Master program as a medical doctor na me to me nye anase bia e wasa me kwete na me sesa madwe no mo beka say na me spouse beka say me papa beka say so all the so you can't even adjust your mindset to make a healthy decision. The road may point right to you, Obefa right, the road may point left to you. Maybe you have sought help and they have helped you. Say, "Fakwan way so fakwan way so But guess what? Adebi woha yenyema. You have to do it all by yourself. You have to ply that road all by yourself, and you have to learn what you have to learn so that you can unlearn what you have learned. And Professor Pastor Daniel Day with one of my sessions with him say, life is a great teacher, and you keep on recycling the lessons you have to learn till you learn them. And to say nyame epese usua bibi abrabomu e was usua bibi about patience. It was usua bibi about how do I put it? I was say we share BB about patience, being strong, being able to stand on your 2 feet. Whatever trait or character that is inborn in you, if it has to come out, life presents you with lessons about that. Now, utimi fasa lessons ni na pass. That is when you will be taking off that lesson path. Because when you go to school now, chemistry 101 a year. It is only when you pass and I'll bet me a movie on unshare chemistry 101 was a program ni movie. Until then, no, you will have to keep facing chemistry chemistry 101, and that is how God has programmed us. And to say traits anyame pese usua, life will keep on presenting it to you until you wake up and smell the coffee and face it and get a grasp upon it. You will still go through that. So let's adjust our mind and know that we will forever not be kids. We will forever not be young adults. We have to wake up and smell the coffee and make ourselves embrace that change that has to come our way so that we can grow and identify our real self. We have to make that change. Sometimes you can't even see forefront what is going to happen because we are not God. We are only human. We only know what we are presented with. But sometimes when you take that leap of faith, sometimes you may also call it taking that risk, being risk loving. Emma, as we apply that route, all the desperate threats in our life begin to knit together and make complete sense. That is when you would know so it was a wrong path. That is the only way I'll be say, oh, this is a wrong path. I wanted to do A, B, or C, or D. And choosing this path, and I will end up at PQRS. So it is a wrong path. Things have rather knit together for you. And then you have to retract and make a U-turn and go take the other way. Sometimes you have to be courageous enough and take that self-care defense by loving yourself to take that change. We have to be very intentional about things. We have to take periodic inventory of our lives. Nobody will do that for you. So see, whether you are progressing and being matured or not, nobody can. Your other self can say it, but deep down, so your mommy can say, I have a daughter who is so nice and who is so calm and lovely. Oba, ofri school ba oshedem, onko baby, sorry, Zoom you so no cry ebaso. But you know your real self. What your mom is saying is about your other self. But only nyame penenim what you do, even in that room. Because we have heard about cases that women don't even go out, but they end up being pregnant whilst they are 24/7 in their homes. Because you know your real self. Take a periodic inventory. And there are people who write down their self-care plan as to from morning to evening or what they want to do. It involves having a to-do list and checking it every point in time. Our set is our goal. It helps you to appraise yourself. It helps you to assess your growth. It makes you know whether you are getting positive results, which is life affirming. And it makes you feel so good about yourself. Say you are doing what you set out to do. Is it bringing you negative results? Is it being self-destructive? You entered into that program, said but at the end of the day, no one is say it's a good decision you made, all right. You started off well, but now it's turning into self-destruction. Say you feel like even dying when you are waking up from that bed that morning to go to work. It is becoming destructive to you. It is leaning towards a pattern of self-destruction. Falling into addiction because they have to smoke their way out. Because we are Christians, you may never know. People do all those sorts of coping mechanisms. You made that choice. Say, one is our partner, no, and that line. But now assess yourself intentionally and see that coping mechanism. Now, what put it up? Is it positive? And answer, is it negative? Are you falling aside now? You are into that career, but then you are into that job. You are not making ends meet. Now you are adding more zeros. Faking just to make ends meet. That is not the real you. It is an other self that is not right. It is self-destructive. It is time to redecide whether say obetuaso and I say ube free honum. Are you living as a photocopy of others? Sometimes people mirror others. It's and say they don't fit in on who they want until they go to their mentors and then they try to copy into the mentor and they say, oh sorry, 6 a.m. every day and do this. They also want to do the exact same thing. You don't allow that creative nature in you to come out. It is only a guidance, but a guidance for you. But it doesn't mean you should photocopy others. You are your own own genuine blueprint. You are unique. Anyame ayewa. You have to make the world experience who you are. Don't be a photocopy. Be the original who you are. Don't feel unbelonging. The world is for us all. That very space now, it is for. It is for me to occupy that space. It's to make sure you are occupying that space. If you are feeling negative about every decision you are making, if you are doubting it, don't. If doubtful, don't. If you are doubting, say, Adia way say me, is it helping me or not? Adia way say, don't make that decision. Always make that decision when you are firm on it. Set boundaries. As young adults, you'll be flowing with the fluency of life because that's how it is. Ube yebewo, ube nyini, ube nante, ube ko school. And so that's the flow of life. But if you don't set boundaries to yourself, you will come and tell me, say, your hormones were telling you, be away or ba, say, they be, because your hormones are telling you that is how you feel. What you feel is not always what it is. And then me feel na mikuna, it doesn't make it right. Though I felt it, but then it doesn't make it right to say mikoku nipano. It's what you feel is not the ideal. It is only when you have boundaries, boundaries, what's setting it to the standard of God, and who say you are pacing right. You have to have your personal space. You have to have your social space, and you're dedicated to you. Spend energy on yourself. Don't feel guilty. Yemubi ohonoma ya bresa ye to atade kra mpo ahye yankasa ye ho a we feel guilty. Ye toka bimpo kra atena mu a na me de kwa so ya say we don beka say ma ye yi o yon beka say meanwhile you have struggled and you have genuinely worked for that and you feel within you say ye good say wo benya sa dream car just for it to be a reward to you, say, utumi achieve milestone be brabum. But you are thinking about your other self and how it is conflicting with your real self. Meanwhile, that is what you set out to do. And to set boundaries and don't feel guilty about it as a young person. Make sure say it is clear enough and you love yourself. That should bring you to self-compassion. We are used to spreading love to people. Young kasaye ni sa love no. People will call you right now and be empathetic about a near man as a sympathetic and showing you all the love and all the kindness. No, bisa have you been kind to yourself? Have you even forgiven yourself? Sometimes you're bonne, you're bomb paye nyame, but within yan kasa ye muni yan fanche yan kasa ye ho. But meanwhile, ya konya me hosa won fanche. But one kasa won fanche ho, and that bonne na wudi no age 1 no is still Adia Esha was so as at age 68. Okay, ye kamanye sa we aka by this time. Ye kamanye say anka by this time. Sa na wuditimusa, you are not loving yourself. You are not showing yourself that compassion that you need. Time bia when you are at a situation, then ka wobekaatre will be no. Look into the mirror and tell yourself. Senka ye mina me beka cho se ma failing me exams and ka sama wobeka atre me to comfort me no. When you fail your exams, look into the mirror and tell yourself that same words that are soothing enough. Read the promises of God to yourself. Embrace your flaws. Don't live your life chasing an entropia wenya and asa be anya pointed. And live all your life in a way, say you are building yourself so that you get money and go and do some plastic surgery to fix yourself. Expensive one at that cost. No? Meanwhile, you could have invested that energy developing your real self and allowing people to embrace you with all your flaws because you have shown yourself the self-love and yes, self-indulgence. I'm not preaching what we call it selfishness, but I'm preaching said the standard is you. That is what God told us. Also love your neighbor as yourself. And to say the ultimate send this ikakoma and no send this ikama wankasa who pay yourself, do yourself that good. Buy a debi a bema weniaje. Sit in your room and relax when you need a call. Take that phone and call an off just to have time for yourself. Make sure so you are treating yourself right. It's said now you matter, tomorrow you don't. Guess what? Say eneya auto form says see and life will continue as if nothing happened. I was surprised at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Anamewo. The professor, and Nam Nesuma Yenya obstetric and gynecology units ever, ewo honum ewuye. And then when they came to tell us the bad news, he said, oh, Professor so and so passed on this morning. No. The man was coming to work even as at age 84. He was still coming with Nepoma Ebe Juma because he was so experienced such that procedures be he does it for us. Or Jinahonom no what to do, and it will become so successful. But when they told us that morning, said that man has passed, nothing happened. Life didn't pause for even 1 second. They did when they even said a moment of silence. That moment of silence, no could be a funny phone. And our press also. Obi anya call. Life didn't wait 1 second, and I was shocked that day. Now you matter. People are embracing you. You are here. We enjoy you. But the next minute you don't. So love yourself. Nobody will love you the way you do. Ask your spouse. Your spouse our promise say odi wakojina nyame animu mpo say I love you 99.9999, add your 1% to it, no. They don't love you that much compared to how you should love yourself, and that's how you love yourself. Nobody apart from nyame or dewoba and loves you. So if you don't show that compassion to yourself, who will? Sometimes when you are even praying for yourself, nah, how? Who be someone say, yeah, I'm spending this as a mayor ear. Then there was some bumpire. If you don't pray for yourself, who will? Guess what? That pastor will even mention your name in general. Me bumpire, Emma first Ghana for that. That's the end. If you don't spend time in that fasting, if you don't spend time in that communion for yourself, who will? Or bad time for me a it is a one kasawa making effort to love yourself. Trust me, nobody will love you. Love yourself. It is not selfishness. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. The earlier we realize that, no, the better. It's say ebe boya maya care for yourself. Nebe boya me to me emanate that love onto the people who are around us. There is a common human factor. Tell me a human being who feels 100% on top always. Tell me about a human being who is 100% happy always. And I will tell you a man who is playing God 100%. We are all imperfect human beings in an imperfect world. Irrespective of how people bottle themselves up and present themselves to you, that makes you feel in your own real self, say, I had to say, I don't fit into this world anymore. I had to say, I want to give up. I had to say, I can't anymore. I am suffocating. I don't know the way forward at this cross junction that I am. When you feel that, remember, say, this is an imperfect world with an imperfect human. We are all trying to find that balance within ourselves, with our real self, with our other self, and then with our ideal self. And then the things that we are even stressing for today, no, it may not matter. iPhone 7, no. But almost say iPhone 14 by and almost 7 it's the same. Even iPhone 13 a be a turn and even within the 14 no cry mu Pro Max near the it is the things that we are facing a year stressing who so much beyond our limits of say set stretching ourselves beyond that yen care for ye no may not even matter. It doesn't mean we shouldn't reach out for the best. But then when you have this at the background, pay attention to yourself. There are a lot of setbacks that come our way. We win some and then we lose some because we are not perfect human beings, because we are not in a perfect world. And then it is always right. And answer the choice that you walk to stay in that setback, it depends on us. And the choice I want to go forward, to rewind, to change our path, it is okay if you fail. It is okay if you thought at the Y-Junction said the road was to go right. And then choosing the right way now, you plied and realized, said, no, it is a wrong way. It is okay for you to accept that and embrace that because we are imperfect humans in an imperfect world. It is okay for you to retract and rewind and come back and take the left. The other self will always be conflicting and be telling you things. You will be judging yourself even within your real self human being. But then you will be having so much fear. Say, how can I make it to the ideal me, the ideal Eva? Will I ever attain it? It is our choice to remain in that conflict. And now say, yebeko yenim. And now I present to you the author and finisher of our faith, the one who made me and who made you in his own image, the one who gave us all the abilities we have, the one who blessed us with all the talents, the inborn given spirit, or the mayan to achieve. No, I present him to you once again. I know he has always been with you. I know, say you acknowledge, say Emmanuel or Niyen Enamu. Remember that at the Y-Junction, he is right there with you. He loves you like none other. There is no other self-care defenser who be put up a yes so superior than a self-care that will rest in the bosom of the love of God for you. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he, Jesus, will direct your path. I don't know how people who don't know this Jesus move and have their being. I am bringing this image here, and I am sorry, said Mr. Danso will have issues with me with the issue about the picture, no. But Fachame, I am just trying to tell you, say, there is a God who loves you beyond your other self. There is a God who loves you beyond your real self. There is a God who can only help you to attain that ideal you know when you subject everything to him. Everything at that junction. Let's acknowledge him and he will bless us, and then we will enjoy ourselves. Nyamisha minu mieno, and have a happy self-love. Amen.
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 Amen.